You won't believe what a childhood trip for fries really uncovered. Something darker than any bedtime story. What if the toys you loved as a kid weren't just innocent playthings, but tools of spying? In this story, I'll reveal the shocking truth about my dad's secret obsession. How a teddy bear I cherished turned out to hide a hidden camera in its eye. It sounded harmless at first, but it led to something horrifying. When I found out, everything I thought I knew about my family shattered. Trust, innocence, safety, all broken in an instant. And here's the twist you won't see coming. It's not just about a toy. It's about betrayal, secrets, and a darkness lurking behind a caring face. What did my dad do next? You'll have to stay till the end to find out. If you're curious, drop a comment with your location and hit that like button, because this story will change how you see childhood forever. Are some secrets too dark to ignore? Let's find out. I wake up early in the morning. Today is a special day. I feel happy because I'm going to get fries with my dad. It is quiet outside. The sun is just starting to rise. I look out my window and see our neighborhood. The houses are small and neat. The trees sway softly in the wind. I look at my favorite toy. It is Bubby, my teddy bear. Bubby is soft and brown. I always sleep with him at night. He makes me feel safe and happy. I hold Bubby close and smile. I love him very much. My dad comes into my room. He is tall and smiling. He wears his blue jacket and jeans. "Time to go, Alex," he says gently. I nod and grab Bubby. We are going to get fries from the corner shop. Just a simple trip, I think. We leave the house and walk down the street. The road is quiet. The air smells fresh. I walk beside my dad, holding Bubby tight. I feel safe with him. I ask, "Can I have extra fries today?" My dad laughs softly. "Sure, buddy," just like last time. We come to the small shop on the corner. It is a tiny place with a big sign. The sign says, "Fry King." The shop is bright and busy. People are waiting for their food. I see the worker behind the counter. He is friendly and tall. His hair is black and messy. I step inside with my dad. The smell of potatoes and ketchup fills the air. I look at all the snacks and toys on the shelves. I see a big jar of candies. I see some small toys too. I like looking around while my dad orders. While we wait, I hold Bubby. I love how soft he is. I gently pet his head. Suddenly, I see something strange. In Bubby's eye, there is a tiny, shiny spot. It looks like a small dot of glass or metal. I blink and look again. The shiny spot is still there. I kneel closer to Bubby's face. I want to see better. I gently lift his ear and peek inside. I see a tiny glass lens. It is like a tiny camera. My heart beats faster. I don't understand. Why would my teddy bear have a camera? I feel confused. The line moves forward. My dad pays for the fries. We get our bag and walk outside. I hold Bubby close and look at him again. The shiny camera in his eye looks very real now. It feels strange and scary. I want to tell my dad about the camera, but I decide to wait. Maybe it is just a mistake. Maybe Bubby is still my safe friend. I put Bubby in my backpack and walk home. I don't know what that small camera means yet, but I can feel that something is not right. That night, I lie in my bed. Bubby is next to me. I hold him tight. I think about the camera and the trip. My mind is full of questions. I love Bubby so much. I trust him. But now I wonder if I really knew him at all. As I close my eyes, I feel a little fear inside. I know this day is just the start. Something strange is happening, and I will need to find out what it is. For now, I just hold Bubby and try to sleep. Tomorrow might bring more answers, or more questions. This is only the beginning. My story is about to change forever. I woke up the next morning and thought about the night before. I still remembered how excited I was to go for fries with my dad. We had gone to the Fry King shop, and I had my teddy bear Bubby with me. Bubby was my favorite toy. I always held him close when I was nervous or happy. That night, I had seen something strange in Bubby's eye. There was a tiny, shiny lens, like a little eye that glinted in the dark. I felt confused. Why did Bubby's eye look like that? Was it just a toy? Or was there something more? I looked at Bubby again. His eye was smooth and soft, but I remembered how I saw the small camera lens. I felt a little scared, but also curious. I didn't tell anyone about it yet. I thought maybe I was imagining things. Maybe it was just a shiny part of Bubby's eye. Later that day, I played with Bubby in my room. I hugged him tightly. I wanted to believe he was just a teddy bear, but my mind kept going back to that tiny camera lens. Why would someone hide a camera in Bubby's eye? Who would do that? And why? I decided I wouldn't ask my dad right away. I didn't want to upset him or make him angry. I thought maybe I could find out more on my own. I looked at Bubby carefully. His soft fur, his stitched nose, his little paws. Everything looked normal. But then, I remembered how the lens looked sharp and tiny. It didn't seem like it belonged there. It was made to hide and watch without anyone knowing. That night, I couldn't sleep well. I kept thinking about Bubby and the tiny camera. I wondered if other toys around me could have cameras too. I looked around my room and saw my other toys. My cars, my blocks, my other stuffed animals. Were they safe? Or were they watching me too? I knew I had to be careful. I didn't want anyone spying on me, not even with my favorite toys. I felt a little scared, but also brave. I thought, maybe I should talk to Dad about this, or maybe I should find out the truth myself. But I remembered how my dad seemed so nice. Maybe he didn't know about the cameras. Maybe someone put them in the toys without telling him. Or maybe he knew. I didn't know what to think yet. I decided to keep my eyes open. That night, I tucked Bubby close. I looked at his face and promised myself to find out what was really going on. I wanted to know why my favorite teddy bear might have been hiding a tiny camera eye. As I drifted to sleep, I felt a strange mix of feelings: confusion, curiosity, and a little fear. I knew someday I would find out the truth, but for now, I would keep Bubby safe and watchful, because I knew that sometimes things aren't always what they seem, and the more I looked, the more I would learn. The night was quiet. The world outside was dark, but inside my mind, many questions swirled. I wondered what the next step would be. Would I ask my dad? Would I find more clues? Or would I have to be brave and look deeper on my own? Whatever happened next, I knew one thing. My childhood was changing. The teddy bear I loved might not be just a toy anymore. And trust was something I had to think about carefully from now on. I closed my eyes and held Bubby tightly. I wanted to keep him safe, and I wanted to know the truth, no matter how hard it might be. Because sometimes, the biggest secrets hide behind the smallest things, and I was ready to find out what they were. I woke up the next morning feeling confused. The night before, I had found the tiny camera in Bubby's eye. It was strange and a little scary. I kept looking at Bubby, wondering what was really happening. My mind was full of questions. That day, I tried to act normal. I played with Bubby, hugged him tight, but I could not forget about the camera. I wanted to know what my dad was doing last night. Why was he going to the toy shop? Why did he hide things from me? Later, I saw my dad sitting in the living room. He looked calm like always, but I remembered how secretive he had been. I decided to ask him a simple question. "Dad," I said quietly, "where did you go last night?" He looked up at me and smiled. "Just out for a walk," he said. His voice was normal, but I knew he was hiding something. I didn't push him. I didn't want to make him angry, but I felt a strange feeling inside. I knew I had to find out the truth. That afternoon, I took Bubby with me when I went outside. I wanted to look at him again. I held him close and looked at his eye. The tiny camera was still there, shiny and small. It looked just like a tiny dot. I wondered how many toys had cameras like that. I remembered how I found the camera in Bubby's eye. I had been playing with him, hugging him tight. Suddenly, I saw a little flash of light. I looked closer and saw a tiny lens. I didn't understand what it was, but I knew it wasn't normal. I had a strange feeling. What if my toys could see me? What if they were watching me? I shivered a little. I didn't want to believe it was true, but I couldn't ignore what I had seen. That night, I couldn't sleep well. I kept thinking about the camera and what it meant. I wanted to find out more. I decided I needed to see if I could find more toys with cameras. The next morning, I went into the garage. I opened a box full of old toys. I looked carefully at each one. Some toys looked normal, but I was looking for something special, something that might have a tiny camera inside. I picked up a small robot toy. I looked at its eyes. Nothing. I looked at a plush car. Still nothing. Then I saw a set of action figures. I turned one over and looked at the back. No cameras there. I put the toys down and sat quietly. My mind was busy. I wondered who made the toys with cameras. Was it the shopkeeper? Was someone watching me? I didn't know, but I felt nervous. Later, I decided to talk to my mom. She was in the kitchen, making lunch. "Mom," I asked softly, "do you know about toys with tiny cameras inside?" She looked at me funny. "What do you mean?" she asked. I hesitated. "I found one in Bubby's eye, and I saw it was a tiny camera." Her face changed. She looked surprised and worried. "Why do you ask?" she said. "I think someone is spying on us," I said. "I don't like it." My mom sat down next to me. She looked serious. "I don't know about cameras in toys," she said, "but I will talk to your dad. Maybe he knows more." That made me feel a little better. I hoped that my dad could explain everything. I wanted to trust him, but now I was not sure. That night, I stayed up late. I kept looking at Bubby. I softly touched his soft fur and looked into his stitched eyes. I wanted to believe that he was just a teddy bear. But now I saw him differently. I wondered what my dad was really doing last night. Was he hiding something? Did he go to the toy shop to do something wrong? I felt tired and confused. My mind was full of questions I could not answer. Before I went to bed, I hugged Bubby tight. I whispered, "Are you really just a teddy bear?" I didn't get an answer, but deep inside, I knew that the night had changed everything. My childhood was no longer simple and safe. I still loved Bubby, but now I knew that some secrets could hide behind familiar faces. As I closed my eyes, I promised myself one thing. I would find out the truth. I would not let secrets stay hidden forever. Even if it was hard, I wanted to know what was real and what was just a lie. And I knew deep down that the night was only the beginning of a much bigger mystery. I felt a strange tightness in my chest. My mind kept going back to Bubby, my teddy bear. Yesterday I had seen something in his eye. It was a tiny, shiny thing that looked like a camera lens. I didn't understand it then, but now I knew it was something very wrong. That night, after everyone was asleep, I sat on my bed and held Bubby close. My fingers touched his stitched eye. I remembered how I used to hug him tight when I felt sad or scared, but now I looked at him differently. I wondered if he was watching me all the time. I knew I had to find out more. I took a small flashlight from my drawer. The light was soft, but I could see well in the dark. I gently touched Bubby's eye again. The tiny camera was still there, hidden in the stitches. I felt a shiver run down my spine. "What is this?" I whispered. My voice sounded small and scared. I felt like I was in a mystery I didn't understand. I looked at Bubby's eye from different angles. The camera was just a tiny lens, shiny and cold. I thought about what to do next. I didn't want to hurt Bubby. He was my favorite teddy bear, but I also needed to know the truth. Suddenly, I remembered something. The night before, I saw my dad go into the closet. He looked nervous, like he was hiding something. I thought maybe he knew about the cameras. Maybe he put them there. I decided I had to ask him. I wanted to know why Bubby had a camera in his eye. But I was scared. I didn't want to upset him, but I couldn't ignore what I found. I sneaked out of my room quietly. I tiptoed down the hall to my parents' room. I knocked softly on the door. My heart pounded. "Dad?" I whispered. "Can I talk to you?" The door opened slowly. My dad was there, looking calm but tired. "What's wrong, Alex?" he asked gently. "I found something in Bubby," I said. "There's a tiny camera. Why is it there?" He looked surprised. His eyes flickered, and for a moment, he didn't say anything. Then he took a deep breath. "Alex," he said softly, "that camera was not supposed to be in Bubby. It's part of something I found, something I was trying to understand." I stared at him. I wanted to ask more, but I didn't know what to say. He knelt down and looked at me with kind eyes. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I didn't want to scare you. But I found out that some toys have tiny cameras, and they can be used to spy on people. I found out that someone is selling these toys, and they are not safe. I felt my stomach tighten. I didn't understand everything, but I knew it was very serious. "Why did you want to destroy Bubby?" I asked quietly. My dad sighed. "Because I was worried. I didn't want anyone to watch you or listen to you without you knowing. Bubby is special to you, but that camera made him dangerous. I had to get rid of it before someone else used it to hurt you or your family." I looked down at my hands. I felt a mix of confusion and sadness. I loved Bubby so much, but now I saw that he was part of something bad. "Did you do it all for me?" I whispered. He nodded. "Yes, Alex. I only wanted to protect you. I didn't want you to be hurt by secret eyes watching you when you didn't know." I felt tears come to my eyes. It was hard to understand everything at once. Part of me still loved Bubby, but I could see now that sometimes even people we trust can hide secrets that hurt us. "Can I keep Bubby?" I asked softly. My dad smiled a little. "Of course. Bubby is special. And now you know the truth. That makes you even stronger." I hugged Bubby close again. I knew I would never look at my toys the same way. They could hide secrets I never saw before. That night, I learned something important. Sometimes people hide truths behind smiles and gentle words. Trust is something we have to be careful with. But I also learned that being brave enough to ask questions can help us find out the real truth. As I lay back in my bed, I looked at Bubby's stitched eye with new eyes. It was a reminder that not everything is what it seems, and that sometimes the biggest secrets can come from the ones we love the most. I never wanted to believe it. I thought my dad was just a kind, caring man, but now I saw something that changed everything. It was late at night, and I was holding Bubby, my favorite teddy bear. Bubby was soft and warm. He made me feel safe. But tonight, something was wrong. I looked at Bubby's eye, and I saw it again, the tiny glint. A little shiny spot in his eye. I had seen it before, but I had ignored it. Now I couldn't ignore it anymore. I gently touched Bubby's eye. I felt a small bump. I pulled back the fur and looked inside. There was a tiny camera lens there. It was small, black, and shiny. It looked real. My heart beat fast. "Why is there a camera in Bubby?" I whispered. I felt cold all over. I remembered the night I got Bubby. My dad had given him to me when I was very small. I thought Bubby was just a toy, a friend, but now I saw that he was more than that. Someone had put a camera in my teddy bear's eye. I looked around my room. My dad was still sleeping. I knew I should be quiet. I didn't want him to hear me. I felt a mixture of confusion and fear. Is my dad spying on me? I wondered. I didn't want to believe it, but that tiny camera told me the truth. Something was not right. I held Bubby close and fought. Why would my dad do this? Did he want to watch me? Or was there someone else? I didn't understand. All I knew was that I had found something secret and scary. I decided I had to find out more. I looked at Bubby's eye again. The camera was small but clear. It looked like a real camera, just tiny. I gently took Bubby's arm and looked behind it. Maybe there was more. Maybe this was part of a bigger plan. But I didn't see anything else, just the camera in his eye. My mind was racing. I remembered stories about toys that could watch people. It seemed crazy, but now I knew it was true. Toys could be used to spy. I looked at Bubby again. I felt sad. He was supposed to be my friend, my comfort. But now I saw him differently. He was part of something dark. I put Bubby down on my bed. I didn't know what to do next. Was my dad dangerous? Was he hiding something terrible? I took a deep breath. I decided I had to be brave. I had to talk to my dad. I needed to understand why he put a camera in my bear. But I was scared. I didn't want to upset him. I looked at Bubby one last time. I whispered, "I'll find out the truth." I knew that my world was changing. I was no longer sure who to trust. That night, I kept Bubby close. I looked at his eye again, the tiny camera still shining. I knew that this was only the beginning. I had to learn more about what my dad was doing, about the toys that could spy, and about the secrets hidden inside my childhood. I felt a little brave and a little afraid, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't ignore what I had seen, because now I knew that sometimes the things we love the most can hide the biggest secrets. I felt my heart beating fast. Everything had changed. Just a few hours ago, I thought my dad was kind and gentle. Now I saw him in a new way, someone who could hide dark secrets behind his calm face. It was midnight. The moon was bright outside the window. I was sitting on my bed, holding Bubby, my favorite teddy bear. Bubby was soft and worn, and I loved him very much. But tonight, I looked into Bubby's eye and saw something strange. There was a shiny little glint in Bubby's eye. I squinted and leaned closer. It looked like a tiny camera lens. I remembered what I had found earlier. I remembered the small camera I saw in Bubby's eye when I first noticed him. Now I knew for sure. Bubby wasn't just a teddy bear. He was a spy toy. I held Bubby tight. My mind raced. Why would someone put a camera in my teddy bear? Who was watching me? My chest felt tight. I wanted to cry, but I also wanted answers. Suddenly, I remembered what my dad had said yesterday. He seemed nervous when I asked him about Bubby. He told me Bubby was just a toy. But I had seen the camera with my own eyes. I couldn't forget it. I slowly got up from my bed and tiptoed out of my room. My house was quiet. I looked down the hall. I saw my dad sitting in the living room, sitting very still, staring at the wall. His face was calm but tense. I hesitated. I wanted to ask him where Bubby was, but I was scared. I took a deep breath. I decided I had to know the truth. I gently called, "Dad?" He looked up. His eyes were calm, but I saw a flicker of worry. "Yes, Alex?" I held Bubby close. "Dad, I found something. There's a camera in Bubby's eye. Why?" His face changed for a moment. He looked down, then back at me. He sighed slowly. "I was going to tell you. There's something you need to know." I felt my stomach tighten. "What is it?" He looked at me carefully. "Those toys, they aren't just toys. Some of them have tiny cameras. They can watch people without them knowing. Someone puts them in toys to see what people do. Sometimes they are used by bad people." My eyes widened. "Who put the cameras in the toys?" My dad looked sad. "Many people sell them. They don't tell you what's inside. They just want to make money. But some of those toys are dangerous. They spy on kids and families." I felt confused. "Do you know who sells them?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, there's a shop nearby. They sell many spying toys. I didn't want you to get hurt by them. That's why I went there last night." My mind was spinning. I remembered the toy shop from a few days ago. I thought it was just a place to buy fun toys. But now I knew better. There were hidden cameras inside many of those toys. "Dad," I asked softly, "what did you do about the spy toys?" He looked very serious. "I went to the shop. I told the owner I knew about the cameras. I was angry. I told him it's wrong to spy on people. I made him promise to take the toys away. Then I made him burn the rest of the toys that had cameras." I looked at him. "You mean you made him destroy the toys?" He nodded. "Yes, I made sure he burned them all. I wanted to stop the spying. I was angry because I think it's wrong to watch people without their permission." I felt a strange mix of feelings. I was sad because Bubby was gone. I was upset because someone had lied to me. But I also felt a little proud that my dad was fighting to protect us. "Did you do this to keep me safe?" I asked. He smiled gently. "Yes, Alex. I only want to keep you safe. I didn't want you to be watched or hurt by those spying toys. I did it because I love you." I looked at Bubby in my hands. I was sad to lose him, but now I understood. Those toys weren't just toys. They were tools to watch people. That made me feel strange inside. I slowly sat back down on my bed. My mind was full of questions. I wondered how many other toys had cameras like Bubby. Were there more spying toys out there? Were my friends' families also being watched? The thought made me feel nervous. My dad came closer and sat beside me. He took my hand gently. "Alex, it's okay to feel confused. It's okay to be upset. But you have to remember, sometimes grown-ups have to do hard things to protect others. It's not always simple. I looked into his eyes. But I trusted you. I thought you were my protector. Now I see you did something really scary. He looked down. I know. I never wanted you to feel sad or scared, but I had to do it. I couldn't let those toys hurt anyone. Sometimes, to do what's right, we have to make hard choices. I felt tears in my eyes. I didn't want to cry, but I couldn't hold it back. I miss Bubby, I whispered. My dad hugged me gently. I miss him too, but he's safe now. And we will find new ways to keep you safe, without spies hiding in your toys. I wiped my eyes. I felt a little better. I looked at my dad and nodded. I knew the world was more complicated than I thought. People can hide dark secrets even behind the kindest faces. That night, I held Bubby close, even if he was just a teddy bear now. I learned that trust is fragile, and sometimes you have to look behind the masks people wear. I knew I would never forget what I saw tonight. And I knew I had to be brave, even when things are hard. As I closed my eyes, I promised myself one thing. I would always try to find the truth. Even if it's scary, I want to know what is real. Because sometimes the truth is the only way to find peace. And I knew one thing for sure. No matter what, I would never stop loving Bubby. And I would always remember that even the kindest faces can hide dark secrets. I never imagined that the night would turn so dark. After everything I learned about Bubby and the hidden camera, I felt confused and scared. My father had told me he was trying to protect me by destroying the spy toys, but now I saw something else, something much darker. That night, after we got back home, I sat on my bed with Bubby in my arms. I looked at his tiny stitched eye, remembering how soft and warm he felt. But now I remembered the little camera in his eye. How long had it been there? Who had seen me through it? My stomach tightened with worry. Suddenly, my father came into my room. He looked serious, like he had made a big decision. I hugged Bubby closer and asked, "Dad, why did you do it? Why did you destroy Bubby?" He sat down beside me and took a deep breath. "Alex," he said softly, "I found out something terrible. Those toys with cameras, they weren't just for fun. They were being used to watch people, to spy on families. I couldn't let that happen. I had to stop it." I looked at him with big eyes. "So Bubby was spying on me? All this time?" He nodded. "Yes, I saw the camera in his eye, and I knew I had to act fast. But I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted to get rid of the spying toys." I felt a tear roll down my cheek. But Bubby was my friend. He was special to me. He reached out and gently rubbed my shoulder. "I know, kiddo. I know Bubby was your friend. But sometimes people hide dangerous things in what seems normal. Toys, even your favorite ones, can be used by bad people. That's why I had to do what I did." I looked at Bubby's face, soaked in tears and dust. I felt so confused. One part of me wanted to be angry. Why did Dad hide this? Why did he lie? But another part of me understood he was trying to protect me. "Did they put cameras in other toys?" I asked softly. He hesitated. "Yes, I found out the toy shop was selling many of these toys. I saw the cameras myself. It was wrong. Very wrong." My mind raced. I remembered the toy shop near our house. I remembered the tiny cameras I had seen in other toys. They were everywhere. I had never thought about it before. I had just loved playing with Bubby. "Who sold them?" I asked. "The shopkeeper," Dad said. "He knew the toys had cameras. He sold them to anyone who wanted them. He didn't care what it meant for the families." My stomach turned. I couldn't believe that someone would sell toys that spy on people. It felt like a terrible lie hiding inside a normal toy. Dad looked at me. "That's why I went to see him. I wanted the truth. I wanted to make him stop. I told him I knew what he was doing. I made him confess." He paused for a moment and then added, "He said he didn't know how many toys were used or who was watching. He just sold them because he thought they would make money. He didn't think about how dangerous they were." I looked down at Bubby. His little face seemed sad now. I felt a strange mix of feelings: anger, sadness, and confusion. My best friend, my teddy bear, had been used as a tool for spying, and my father had done something terrible to stop it. But the violence still made me sad. Dad reached out and gently took Bubby from my hands. "I made him burn the toys," he said quietly. "All of them. I told him he had to destroy every one. I couldn't let those spies keep watching. I know it was harsh, but I did it for your safety." I looked at my father. He was strong and serious. I thought he was only kind and gentle, but now I saw he could be angry and mean when he wanted to protect me. "Are there more toys like that?" I asked. He nodded. "Yes, I saw them in many stores. There were so many toys with tiny cameras. They looked like regular toys, but inside they hid spying eyes. I am sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I didn't want to scare you." I hugged Bubby tight. I felt cold inside. I didn't want my childhood to be full of secrets and lies. I loved my teddy bear, but now I knew that even the toys I loved could hide dark things. "Did anyone know about these toys?" I asked. Dad looked at me carefully. "Some people did. The store owners, the people who made the toys. They knew, but they didn't tell anyone. They kept the secret because they wanted to make money." My head spun. Toys that spy on people. People hiding secrets in toys. It all felt so strange and wrong. I looked at Bubby again. I whispered, "He's just a teddy bear. He's not a spy. He's my friend." Dad smiled softly. "Yes, Bubby is your friend, and he always will be. But remember, not everything that looks safe really is. Sometimes we have to be careful." I nodded slowly. I felt tired and sad. My trust was broken. But I also felt brave. I wanted to understand the truth, no matter how dark it was. That night, I lay in my bed, holding Bubby close. I thought about everything I learned, about the spying toys, about my father's anger, about the secrets hidden behind the smiles and the toys. I knew this was just the start. There were more questions, more secrets. But I also knew I had to be strong and brave. I had to face the truth, even if it hurt. And I promised myself that I would never let fear hide the real story. I would find out what's true, no matter what. I felt the weight of everything that had happened. My head was full of questions and my heart was heavy. I sat quietly in my room, looking at the ashes of Bubby. The teddy bear I loved so much was gone. It felt like a part of me was missing. I remembered what my father did. He had taken Bubby and burned him because he found a tiny camera inside Bubby's eye. It was a small, shiny lens that I had never seen before. I had stared at it for a long time, confused. Why was my favorite bear hiding a camera? And why did my father want to destroy it? I didn't understand everything yet, but I knew I was sad and mad. I felt like I had lost a friend. I also felt betrayed. My father seemed so gentle and kind, but now I could see that he had secrets. Dark secrets. I whispered to myself, why did he do that? Why did he lie? Tears came into my eyes. I thought about all the times I trusted him, and how now I wasn't sure if I could trust anyone anymore. Suddenly, I remembered something important. I remembered the toy shop, the place where my father had gone that night. I remembered the toys with tiny cameras, the ones I had found earlier. They weren't just toys, they were spying devices. Tiny cameras hidden inside toys we played with. My stomach felt strange. I realized that toys could be used to watch people without them knowing. That was a scary thought. I wondered how many toys like that were out there. And I wondered who was watching. I looked around my room, at the toys I still had. Bubby was gone, burned to ashes. But the rest of my toys still sat quietly on my shelf. I touched one of them carefully. Could they also have hidden cameras? Were they spying on me too? I sat quietly and thought about everything. My mind was full of questions. I didn't have all the answers yet, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't trust everything I thought was safe. Not anymore. A feeling of anger started to grow inside me. I was angry at my father for hiding the truth. I was angry at the toy shop for selling spying toys, and I was angry at the world for making secrets so easy to hide. But I also felt something else, something small but strong. I felt that I had to find the truth. I had to understand what was really happening. I needed to know if other toys were spying or if I was safe now. I stood up slowly, my fists clenched. I decided I wouldn't let secrets and lies control me. I would find out the truth, no matter how hard it was. I looked at the window. Outside, the night was quiet. The streetlights shone softly. It was just a normal night. But inside me, everything was different. The world didn't seem so simple anymore. Things I thought were safe and good might be hiding something dark. I took a deep breath. I told myself, I will be brave. I will find the truth. I knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I also knew that I had to face what was real, not what I wished was true. Even though I was sad, I felt a small spark of hope. Maybe someday I could find the answers. Maybe I could learn how to trust again. But for now, I had to be careful, because the secrets were still out there, watching, waiting, and I knew I had to be brave enough to see them. I sat on my bed, holding Bubby tightly. My mind was full of questions. I thought about everything I had learned. My father had done something terrible. He had gone to destroy Bubby because of the tiny camera in his eye. I still felt sad about losing Bubby, but I also felt confused. Why did my dad do that? Was he really trying to protect me? Or was something else going on? It was late at night. The house was quiet. I looked at Bubby's empty face and wondered if there were more secrets I didn't know. I remembered how happy I used to feel when I hugged Bubby. Now, everything felt strange. My childhood memories didn't seem so safe anymore. I took a deep breath. I knew I had to understand. I wanted to know why my dad had lied and done such a scary thing. I had to find out the truth, even if it hurt. Just then, I heard my dad move in the hallway. He was walking slowly, quiet as if he didn't want to wake anyone. I felt nervous. Should I ask him? Should I stay quiet? I decided to sit up and talk. I called softly, "Dad?" He stopped in the doorway. His face looked calm, but I could see a little worry in his eyes. He came closer and sat beside me. I looked at him and asked, "Dad, why did you want to destroy Bubby?" He looked down for a moment. Then he took a deep breath and sighed. "Alex, I did it because I found out something very bad," he said. "Bubby had a tiny camera in his eye, and many other toys like him do too. They were sold to stores, and they spy on people." My eyes widened. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Toys that I loved and trusted were actually spying on us? Dad continued, "Some people use these toys to watch others without them knowing. It's wrong. I didn't want you to be watched all the time. I wanted to stop it." I felt my throat tighten. I was angry that I didn't know this before. I felt sad because I had lost Bubby. But I also felt a little angry at the shopkeeper who sold those toys and at the people who made them. I asked softly, "Did you do all that just to help me?" He nodded. "Yes, I was angry and upset. I wanted to protect you, even if it meant doing something harsh. I know I shouldn't have done it without telling you, but I thought it was the only way." For a moment, I sat quietly. I looked at him. I saw that he was trying to be strong, but I also saw that he cared. I thought about all the times he hugged me or helped me. I realized that even though he did something wrong, he did it because he wanted to keep me safe. But I also felt a strange coldness inside me. My childhood had changed. I used to believe that my family was safe and good. Now I saw that even people who seem kind can hide dark secrets. I looked down at my hands and said, "So the toys were spying on us? All those toys?" He nodded again. "Yes, many toys were sold with cameras inside. I didn't know how many, but I knew enough to be angry. I wanted to stop it. I had to do something." I looked away. I didn't know what to say. I felt tired and confused. I loved my dad, but I didn't understand everything. I wondered if I could trust him now. He reached out and gently touched my shoulder. "Alex, I did this because I love you. I want to keep you safe. Sometimes that means making hard choices. I am sorry I didn't tell you everything earlier." I looked at him and nodded slowly. Okay, Dad, I understand. But it still hurts. He nodded back. I know, and I'm sorry. I hope one day you can forgive me. But right now, I just want you to be safe and happy. I felt tears in my eyes. I wanted to be brave, but I was also feeling sad. I hugged Bubby's empty shirt close to me. It felt cold, but I knew I had to face the truth. That night, I learned something important. Sometimes the people we love do things that hurt us, but they do it because they think it's the right thing. I also learned that trust is fragile. It can be broken, but it can also be rebuilt. As I lay back on my bed, I looked out the window at the dark sky. I thought about everything I had learned. The world is not always safe or simple. Sometimes even the people we trust the most can hide dark secrets. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I knew I was growing up. I knew I had to be brave. I would find a way to deal with my feelings. I would learn to trust again, but I'd be more careful now. And I promised myself that I would always seek the truth, no matter how hard it was. Because only the truth can set us free. I sit on my bed and look around the room. Everything feels different now. The soft toys, the pictures on the wall, even Bubby, my favorite teddy bear, look strange. I remember the night I found the tiny camera in Bubby's eye. I remember how my father told me it was nothing, just a toy with a little flashing light. But I knew the truth now. Bubby had not been just a toy. It was a spy, watching us all along. I feel tired and confused. My mind keeps turning over what I learned. I used to think my father was gentle and kind. I thought he loved me and protected me. But now I see another side, dark and secretive. I wonder why he did all those things. Suddenly, I hear a noise from downstairs. My heart beats faster. I get up quietly and tiptoe to the staircase. I peek down and see my father talking very quietly on the phone. His face looks serious. I can't hear what he's saying, but I see him look around, as if he's afraid of being watched. I take a deep breath. I want to trust my father, but I also want to know the truth. I remember the night at the toy shop, how he made the shopkeeper burn all those toys. I saw the flames flicker in his eyes. He was angry, very angry. I walk slowly back to my room and sit on the edge of my bed. I think about everything. I think about Bubby, my teddy bear, how he was my best friend, how I used to hug him tight and feel safe. But now I wonder, was Bubby really for me? Or was he part of something much bigger? I remember the words my father said when he told me Bubby had to be destroyed. It's for your safety, he said. But I saw the anger in his voice. I saw how much he wanted to stop the spying. Maybe he thought he was doing the right thing. Maybe he believed it was necessary. But I also saw how it hurt him. Hurt him so much that he forced the shopkeeper to burn the toys. I saw tears in the shopkeeper's eyes. I feel a strange mix of feelings. I am angry at my father. I am sad for Bubby. I am scared that other toys might still be watching. Are there more cameras? Are other children still being spied on? My head hurts trying to think of all the dark secrets. Suddenly, I remember something. When I was little, my mother used to tell me, sometimes grown-ups hide things because they think it's for the best. But I know now that hiding secrets can hurt people. It can hurt them very badly. I think about what I should do. Should I tell someone? Should I keep quiet? I feel small and alone, but I know I must be brave. I need to decide what is right. I take out Bubby from my closet. I hold him close. I whisper, I'm sorry, Bubby. I didn't know the truth before, but I do now. I look into his stitched eyes. I wonder if he knows how much I loved him, how much I needed him to make me feel safe. Suddenly, I hear my father come upstairs. He opens my door gently. His face is calm, but I see a shadow in his eyes. He sits beside me and places his hand on my shoulder. Alex, he says softly, I did what I thought was right. I wanted to protect you and Mom. Sometimes adults make mistakes, but I never wanted to hurt you or Bubby. I look at him and ask, Dad, why did you hide everything? Why did you destroy Bubby? He sighs and says, because I found out there are toys that can watch people. They can see and hear things we shouldn't be a part of. I was angry. I wanted to stop it. That's why I destroyed Bubby and the others. I thought I was doing what was best, but I see now that I hurt you. I'm sorry." His words make me feel mixed. I want to forgive him, but I also feel sad and confused. I tell him, "I wish you had told me. I wish I knew the truth before. I loved Bubby so much. He was my friend." He nods and kisses my head. "I promise from now on I will be honest with you. No more secrets. We will find a way to fix this together." I look at him and feel a little stronger. I know that trust is hard now, but I also know that honesty can help rebuild it. I hold Bubby close and say, "Thank you, Dad. I want us to be honest and to be a family again." As I sit there with my father, I feel a new kind of hope. I understand that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. They hide things because they think it's for the best. But the truth is always better in the end. I look at my teddy bear and whisper, "You're safe now. Bubby, I will remember what you teach me. Trust is fragile, but I will try to be brave and honest too." That night, I go to sleep knowing the world is not always kind, but I also know that I can be brave. I can face the dark and find the light. Sometimes the biggest monsters are not under the bed. They are watching through the toys we loved, and I will never forget that.